Thank you, Cyclones fans, for joining us. My name is Billy Harner. I'm the Assistant General Manager of the Brooklyn Cyclones and all-around good guy. And I am joined by another all-around good guy, Jonah Tong, who was a star of the 2024 Brooklyn Cyclones and is getting ready to kick off his 2025 season, taking some time while he's already down in Florida getting ready for the season. So thank you, Jonah, for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course, and 100% great guy. Just great guy to Billy.
Of course, of course. So we'll walk through this a little bit, but for those that aren't familiar, you got drafted out of Canada, which is a little bit more of a hockey town than or hockey country than baseball country, I guess. So how is that process for you as a kid playing baseball in Canada? How easy was that? Like, was there a ton of travel involved? And how did you get out of the grasps of hockey and not become a hockey player?
So that's pretty funny because growing up, I wasn't the biggest kid. Like I started grade 9 at 4'8". So that was pretty easy for me not to play hockey. I was tiny. Like I don't even think I was 100 pounds soaking wet. My dad and his brother played hockey. Um, and I remember he took me out skating one time, and I don't think I made it past like 4 strides before I fell. I like to say, even like with my girlfriend, we were going on like rollerblading or whatever this off season. I was like, hey, yeah, like I could skate 100%. I don't know how to stop, but I could skate. So I think that I just was never built for ice. And then it
Okay.
was pretty easy to go into baseball when I always like to tell the story of like I was going through a newspaper and there was a softball opening. So I said, hey, like that'd be fun to play. And then the rest is history. It's not as big as America for sure. Like we used to come here for tournaments and stuff like that, but it's still like a pretty good size considering we have a tenth of the population in the US. Um, I would say it's something that's growing more and more, especially with the way baseball is starting to turn out, which is awesome.
Speaking of being a little bit smaller, so you said you were 4'9" and 100 pounds when you're entering what's the equivalent of high school, I guess, here. When did that change? What did you start eating your Wheaties in the morning? What changed and when did you become like, oh, now I can actually play baseball?
Well, I started eating my Wheaties actually when I got drafted, so I can't really say that. I was always a really skinny kid. It's
Mhm.
always like the first things people always told me growing up. But I first had I think I grew from 4'8" to 5'4" in grade 9, and then didn't really
That's
do
a big
much.
jump.
Yeah. Um, Grade 11, I had my biggest jump. I went from 5'4" to I think like 5'11", and then that'd be my junior year, and then like my senior year, I got up to 6 feet, and
Was there like a game or anything, in your high school career where you figured, oh, I'm pretty good at this. Maybe I have a shot to get drafted and maybe this is something I can make a career out of.
honestly, didn't think about that at all. Like my entire focus was going to college. And then I took a gap year because of COVID. It kind of shut down literally everything in our country, so there was literally no baseball. So as we were starting to open back up, in the fall of 2021, I started to kind of pick up a little bit. Like I hit 94 on our kind of like our college road trip that we have at the Toronto Mets and stuff like that, which is a really good opportunity for like us to try to like get into the U.S. college scene. By that time, I was already committed to North Dakota State via Twitter and word of mouth. Um, and then that off season, I had a workout in January where I started to see some decent numbers. I really didn't know what they meant, and that kind of pushed me to Arizona. And then from Arizona, I went to Georgia, where I spent a lot of time actually. And even during that entire process, I really thought I was going to go to college until like I'd say like the day before the draft, I was kind of like, oh, like maybe this is a possibility. Like never get your hopes too high and stuff like that. And then when the phone call came, I was like, "Ooh, okay, this is real. Like it's happening." And you kind of pinch yourself, and
So once it happened, did you consider still going to college? Were you still looking to go play inside a big bubble in North Dakota State? Because I don't know how they play outdoor baseball there,
the,
but
the Fargo
uh,
Dome. No,
Yeah.
they have actually a pretty good setup out there. But it's hard because it obviously is very cold there a lot of the time, so they don't really get to use it until later in the year. But I was considering it pretty heavily until the phone call came, and then once that kind of came through and everything about that kind of went, I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna go. Especially like I still do school, so like even right now, I'm just taking a couple classes here and there and trying to work down my degree, which coming from an academic family, my parents are very happy about that. So,
How far along are you in that pursuit of your degree, and what are you trying to get your degree in?
so this fall I just completed first year, which is huge.
Congratulations. That's a
Happy
big
about that.
deal.
Thank
You got a
you.
lot of stuff going on, man. That's a big
Exactly.
accomplishment.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just to have it's always my goal growing up was always to have a degree with my name on it. I thought that was the coolest thing. Seeing like my sisters have them, my parents have them, everyone like I kind of knew had one, and that's kind of been my goal from here on out, and just take it as it goes. But I'm studying finance and accounting management at Northeastern, so
So once you get drafted, you sign, you get sent to Port St. Lucie. What was that like for you, sort of being on your own and just starting life as a professional athlete by yourself at 18 years old? Like that had to be a big adjustment for you.
it was like my parents were there the first day. And I remember they told me which room I was in, so I was gonna go. And Zebulon Vermillion was my roommate. He was in the same draft class. He was drafted 10th during my round, and
One of
he's
the
not
best names of
small.
all time, by the way.
Elite, best names. He is not a small guy by any means. So me coming in, I'm sharing a hotel room with him. So I open the door and I just see this giant human asleep in the bed next to mine. And I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna go stay with my parents tonight. So I did that. When I met him the next day, the rest is history. He's one of the closest people I actually met here, and he's still one of my great friends. But it was definitely an adjustment. I felt like I was always trying to think that there was something going on when there really wasn't. And I'm really fortunate that the class I had and the people I got really close with kind of took me under their wing and showed me the ropes of what I would have went through in college. And I think there's a lot of maturing that needed to happen there. But it was definitely different. All the resources we could possibly think of, from coaching to data to metrics to like anything you could possibly need, it's there for you. Now, from there on out, it's how are you going to take advantage of it? We're really blessed, and I still confidently believe we have one of the best pitching development in all of baseball, and I'll confidently say that. I think that we just have a really good staff, and the big thing for me was taking advantage of that. It took me a while to kind of get comfortable and make sure like I'm not worrying too much about what people are thinking about me and just going in there and doing my work.
So, just I guess your experience here in Brooklyn, what was that like for you to, you started off the year in St. Lucie, you were, lighting the world on fire and striking everybody out, and then you come here. What was the adjustment like coming here?
It was weird. It was when I first came there, like I thought, oh, I'm going back home. Like it's Northeast.
Mhm.
I know the weather inside and out. But it was a little bit different. Like the cold was not how I envisioned. I remember the first weekend I went there, it was 40 something. I don't know,
Probably,
50
yeah.
something. It was
But it
cold.
feels like it's 10 because there's 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I did realize about that place is how much it is a pitcher's ballpark. Like the wind blowing in from right is insane. It's great for us. Really
Yeah,
for everybody else, it sucks, which is fine.
yeah.
Um, but the fan base is really cool. That's kind of the first time I've ever had like an audience like that. Even like kids night or kids day, the day like my debut there was insane. Like I didn't really think about that. Like there's just a whole lot of people there. Obviously
Mhm.
them screaming and stuff like that, which was different. The biggest piece of development I had there was just understanding that like, all right, when I wake up one morning and it's my start day, like that's whoever I am that day when I walk the field is who I am. I need to like be fully content with like this is who I am. I'm gonna go out there and compete regardless of, how I'm feeling, what the weather is, what the mountain looks like. It really doesn't matter. I have a great group of guys behind me, and I just need to trust that. And I thought when I did that, I had a lot of success.
Yeah, so you ended up the season in Binghamton, so you made a big jump in the year from low A all the way to double A. I mean, it was only a brief time there, but what was that like getting to finally go up to double A and then ending the season on a high note because you did really well?
I thought it was really funny that my first start there was with hockey jerseys. I didn't think it could be more poetic,
Yeah.
but it was really cool. I mean, starting in St. Lucie and going through Brooklyn, like I kind of again started to build my routine and know what I need to do to perform. And when by the time I got to Binghamton, I kind of saw that, and nothing really changed like perspective wise. It was just more, it's the same game. We all play, we all share the same field.
So what was your off season like getting ready for 2025? You know, was there any difference to what you'd done in years previous, or you sort of just found a routine that worked and stuck with it?
I shouldn't say nothing changed because I definitely saw a lot of development, but it was the same focus from the year prior. Just how am I gonna get 1% better every day and just go with it day by day, I guess.
Cool. Well, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it. Good luck this season. We're going to be rooting for you for sure, and
Thank you.
excited to see what the future holds. So thank you.
Appreciate it.